Hello lovely people, my name is Emma and today I'm bringing you a reading vlog, which I know not something we commonly do on here. So it is the Stitch and Listen throughout all of March. We're going to be listening to The King's General by Daphne du Maurier, which is a torrid romance between two star-crossed lovers in the English Civil War. I've not yet started it. But it's because it's the Stitch and Listen, I'm also going to be doing an embroidery project alongside. And what I thought would be really fun is to get my rabbit to help me pick the design, because I have a few ideas that I've been meaning to try for a while, and I want her help picking basically the colour scheme to see what this ends up looking like. And it's always fun getting my rabbit on camera. So I have a few bits next to me, and I'm going to set up a couple of things to see. She's in her box right now having a play. Just going to set up a few bits to get her to pick them, and then I will check in throughout the month with how my reading is going and how the project is going so you can see it. So yeah, let's do this. Don't know if you can see her because she's put an egg box in the way, but she is in. Hello, you're in your digging box, aren't you? Hi. Should we have a bit of a play? Would you like some treats and to help Mummy pick some embroidery? You love eating my embroidery stuff upstairs, don't you? Right, let's see. This is Toaster, for anybody who doesn't know. Toaster, honey, come back. There you go, come back, sweetheart. So yeah, her name is Toaster. She's a part giant house bunny, and she lives in our dining room and has access to the living room whenever we're at home, and occasionally upstairs for supervised play. So let's set up some challenges for her. So test number one is I need her to pick between these three background colours that is going to be the bulk of the fabric on the hoop. So I've got a dark purple, a green and a blue. And what I've done is she gets greens every day. So today is going to be coriander and a couple of cauliflower leaves. And I've put them in egg boxes, which she often has anyway to like try and open. To just make it a little bit more interesting, and I put a G, a B and a P on each one of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her all three egg boxes, and whichever one she decides to open first will be the background colour of the piece that I'm doing. Okay, they're ready on the floor, and she's not realised that we're doing something. Toaster! Sweetheart! Come on! Come on! This way! Keep going! Keep going! Not me! Right, egg boxes! Not the sofa, egg boxes. Oh, look. I cannot believe you just walked over them. You're like the worst athlete in the world. Come on. Okay, she's picked it, but she hasn't got it open. Oh, there we go. So that one was the P. So it's going to be a purple background. Right, cool. You want to just see my bunny munching on some greens. Isn't she cute? I will leave her the other two because I split up her like daily portion into the three little ones, so that's fine, she can have the rest of them. Okay, so this is my next setup, and what I need her to do is pick a little bundle of three different fabrics that are going to be like the accent fabrics for what I'm going to be doing on the design. This will make more sense what the hell the design is as we go through the vlog. So what I've done is I've got a little tray here, and I've just put the four little bundles of fabric that I have, which each one of them has like three different themed patterns in it. So this one's like a floral, got kind of like wintry, got pink tone, and then yellow tone. You can hear her playing with one of the egg boxes in the background. And I've just put a little pile of some of her treats on each one. So these are dried parsnip and beetroot cubes, which she absolutely loves. She especially goes mad for the beetroot. And then it makes her pee look really red, and it's terrifying because I always think that she's bleeding, but she's not, she's fine. And what I'm going to do is in a second, when she's finished eating her greens, I'm going to put this down, and whichever one she goes to first and eats off of will be the pack that I will use with the accent as the accent colours for the purple base. Okay, we are ready. She has found some other food from somewhere. Where's my princess gone? Hi baby, look what I've got. What's this? What's this? Which one? Which one? Which one? Ooh, blue tone. Okay. We can have these. Thank you. You can find the rest if you want. Here you go. Yummy. I know. We have so much fun when Mummy's home, don't we? Okay. Just so many treats. So, what colours has she picked? Bloody hell, you guys are a bit close to my knees, sorry. So we've got this lovely kind of wintry one with bunnies and deer and things on it. We've got this one with some very pretty blue like flowers and kind of dandelion leaves and things. And then we've got this one that's got kind of birds and stars on them. So they're all very kind of wintry, which is interesting. So that will be going with the purple, and we'll see what I can do with that. Okay, so for the design itself, what I'm actually looking to do is kind of like a repeated pattern of sorts using the same motif. So I have 3 different motifs where I've like loosely sketched the shape that I'm going to keep using, and I'm going to kind of cut out the shape from the different colour fabrics and then use some stitching to also do the shape and like do detailing, and that's going to be kind of the vague idea. So I'm going to show you now the 3 different design ideas that I have, or themes as such, and then I'm going to get Missy to pick one of them, and then that will be the theme for the entire piece. So the themes I have are these leaves, specifically like Montessori leaves. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Or we might do cacti, or we might do mushrooms. So that's kind of the idea, is that it's going to be repeated patterns of these in particular. So I'm going to fold these up, and then I'm just going to present them to Missy, and she's going to grab one because she loves like taking paper out of my hand, or pens and things. So this one, there is no real like treat, but she just does this anyway. Hi, you cleaning yourself? Should I let you do this first? You cleaning your leg? Are we ready now? What's this? What's this? What's this? Oh, you're not gonna do it? Miss Toaster, every time I present you with anything, you take it out of my hand immediately. Why are we not doing it today? Go on, which one? Never work with animals, hey? Excuse me? Which one? Which one? What's this? What's this? Which one? I think you did this last time I tried to film with you. You will do this off camera all the time. Okay, looks like we're using treats to do this one. Because apparently my rabbit is a diva who will only work for food. You're an idiot. How is that helpful? Behind, behind, behind. Look behind, look behind. This happened so much last time. Down, 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 down. Okay, that one, that one, that one. Thank you. Cacti, wintry cacti. This is going to be a weird ass design, but I love it. Okay, and the very final thing that I need her to pick is some colour scheme for the thread. So I've got my 5 boxes of thread here that are broken into colours. So we've got greens, reds, purples / pinks, blues and oranges / yellows. I am going to allow myself to add any like black and white to this. So I'm going to let her pick 2 of the 5, and I'm just going to like spread them out across the room and see which ones she ends up going to, and maybe have to put treats on all of them, maybe not. I don't really know how I'm going to do it without her just going and like hoovering up the treats around me, but we'll see what she grabs. Okay, we're set up in here because I really can work out a way to do it. So let's go wake up our contestant again. Darling, last one. Last one. Last one, you come with me. Ooh, come on then. Do, 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 do. Come on. Come on. Right, notice the floor. Notice. Blue. That won't show up at all on the fabric. That's fine. And okay, definitely blue. 100% blue. And yellow. Okay. Cool, blue and yellow it is. Interesting. So these are the the thread colour palettes that I'm going to be using. So you can see we've got lots of yellows, oranges and browns, and then this is all just blues. Aren't they pretty? I love how they're all laid out. We say congratulations, well done to our wonderful contestant. You did so well, honey. You're probably quite full now. You're going to come say goodbye? Ah, thank you. You come say hi? We give Mummy kisses. Mummy has kisses. Thank you, sweetheart. Alright, you can go back to having a nap if you want. So I've just got back from a walk and I figured I'd start listening to The King's General on the walk. So I'm now about 15% of the way through. I think I'm on about chapter 5. Generally I'm really enjoying it. I think Daphne du Maurier just has such wonderful like atmosphere and vibes to all of her books. I really like the kind of gothic feel to them. I am intrigued by the relationship as it's developing between our two main characters. So far the like historical context of the book isn't really featuring too heavily, but I'm kind of enjoying the slight scandal here or there that you would get from like this kind of historical piece, because it's both a classic that was written like the 1900s, early 1900s I think, but it's actually set in like the 1600s, so you've got like a double layer of classics on top, which I really of like historical on top, which I really enjoy. I'm actually also listening to a podcast called Revolutions to provide some historical context for this, because the podcast goes through various revolutions across history and across kind of the world, and their very first season was actually about the English Civil War. So I've listened to like 4 episodes, I think they're all about half an hour long. I started it yesterday just to try and give myself a little bit more background, because I really don't know anything about what was going on in the UK at the time that the book is set and what the English Civil War was even about. I know it's Charles the First, oh I can't remember, but basically it was kind of the split between monarchy and parliament, and also between Catholics and Protestants. So that's providing a lot of background, which is really helpful. I was supposed to be listening to a book called Killers of Kings by, can't remember, I'll link it down below. I actually started it a couple of days ago and I've DNF'd it already. I got about 15% of the way through it, and basically it's very dry, it's very academic, and it actually is about the events that occur after the Civil War, where Charles was executed, and it's about basically the kind of proceedings of trying to put somebody in the monarchy on trial, and whether they should be answerable to the laws of the land or whether they should be answerable only to God, which was very much kind of the energy of the time. In theory it should have been interesting, but it was very, very dry and dull and academic, and just absolute minutiae level details of who was involved and kind of law at the time and sort of the backgrounds of the people involved. And my background knowledge of the Civil War, like I've said, is not very good, so it really wasn't strong enough to know who to care about in the book. So it's one that I've decided to like leave, and maybe I'll grab a different book on it. But to be honest, the podcast is fulfilling the kind of, it's providing the information that I'm looking for, so I don't really feel like I need to go and find an entire other book for it. I'm happy to just kind of stick with the podcast, and it's a great podcast that I've been meaning to listen to more episodes of anyways. This is a nice way of kind of supporting it and listening to like its early seasons and things like that, so I'm quite pleased with that. So that's kind of where we're at with the book. Let's talk embroidery, shall we? Okay, so this is like the layout that I've gone for. So as you can see, I've kind of pinned my 3 little cacti from my 3 different colours, and then I've kind of got some basic drawings of ones in the background, and then I've got my 2 things of thread here. So I'm thinking like one of these is just gonna be an outline. I'm gonna like block in colour, maybe this one down here and this one up here. I'm gonna add some detailing to these and then kind of do the flowers and stuff and like sew and attach them down. I've got pins holding them all in place. So yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of get started and like continue listening, and I'll check in when I finish however much I want to get done today. It's like 3 o'clock now, but I've got some coursework that I need to do a bit later. So yeah, I'm not too sure. And Miss Bunny is currently licking herself again and grooming herself because she's a disgusting creature. So there's our wonderful champ, just going to town on her own bits. Okay? Well, whatever floats your boat, Miss Bunny. Whatever makes you happy. So yeah, I'll check back in a bit, and so will Miss Toaster. Say goodbye, Miss Bunny. You do not care that I'm here. That's okay. Okay, it's a little bit later. I've honestly lost track of time today. So this is the progress I've made so far. So we have one full outliney one, and then I've tacked down this fabric and just popped on a few spiny bits for him. I'm really pleased. I don't know. Ooh, that's not in focus, isn't it? I don't know how well you can see like the way I've done these stitches, but you do 2 little dashes and then you like loop the thread around, which is really cool. It's a design I haven't done in ages, so I was really excited when I remembered it for the cacti. And yeah, so I've been listening to the audiobook. At the moment I have, I don't know if you can see Jenna Marbles' plant tour on in the background, because I got a little bit distracted and realised I wasn't fully paying attention to the audiobook, but I have listened to about 23% so far. So thoughts on the audiobook so far, like I said, I'm a quarter of the way through, give or take, and I am intrigued. It has gone in a bit of a different direction to what I was expecting. I'm going to be talking about spoilers now, and I'll put like a big spoiler alert on the whole video, to be honest, because I am just going to talk about the entire reading experience. But like, our main heroine ends up in an accident where she is paralyzed from the waist down relatively early on in the book, and I totally wasn't expecting it, and it's kind of cool. Like, I'm kind of pleased that the book has done something like this so early. I think it's handling it fairly well, especially given the time period both that the book was actually written in and then the time period that it is setting itself in. I think it's doing, yeah, generally I think it's kind of doing some interesting stuff, but it also means because of that our like star-crossed lovers end up not being together, and then like it's moved them on quite a lot further in age, so they're actually a lot older in terms of as like the bulk of the protagonists. Sorry, it's in the bulk of the book that they're going to be the protagonists. They're that bit older, which again I wasn't really expecting, just because the book opens with them both so young, and it was kind of this very like young love in their very early 20s kind of vibe, and now they're that bit older. And yeah, I am intrigued with what it's going to do. The Civil War is starting to play a lot more of a feature, which is interesting. Generally, I'm really happy with it. I think Daphne Maurier is fantastic. I think Juliet Stevenson, who's narrating it, is fantastic. And I am super intrigued with what is going to happen. So all in all today, really pleased with the progress. Finding the design interesting. I think the colour scheme, it was all really like coherent apart from the yellow and orange. And I think that turns the design from like... And then also it being cacti, which like... They live in deserts. Why is it on a blue palette? This is a confusing piece that I've made, but I'm okay with it because I think Toaster has picked some fun stuff and it's pushing me out of my comfort zone, which was what I really wanted. Oh, sorry, hiccup from this piece. So I'm going to bugger off and go do some of my course now, which means I'll tune in either tomorrow or in a few days when I pick this back up again. So chat soon. This is my progress so far. Just got 2 little cacti left. Sorry I'm talking so quietly, Andy's got meetings. And this is my progress so far. I have 5 hours left. Time to get stitching again. Okay, we have my finished piece that Miss Toaster picked out the design for, so I kind of like it. It's a bit wacky. I think it would look very good in like a primary school art room or like an 8-year-old's bedroom. Do you know what I mean? It's got that very sort of quirky, I feel like especially this guy could easily be a motif on some kids' furniture in some way, and kind of the general way that the colour scheme has worked. So I've enjoyed doing this, but it definitely didn't take anywhere near as long as I was kind of expecting it to. In hindsight, it's because most of it is just outlining. There's like the only 2 kind of block bits of these guys, and this is quite a thick satin stitch that sort of filled in quite easily. So because of that, I still have 4.5 hours left of the audiobook, and I'm probably going to start a new project fairly soon. So audiobook wise, I am partway through chapter 21. So like I said, I've got about 4.5 hours left because I'm listening to it at 1.3 speed. So massive spoilers, like I've said already in this vlog, but basically a lot has happened. There has been a siege on the big manor house that our main heroine Honor is staying in. There's all sorts of elaborate subterfuge with like a hidden passage underneath where she's had to hide our main character, like our main hero Richard's son, so that the rebel forces don't find him and kill him, because he's the son of one of the king's like most decorated generals. So we've hidden her there. His like there's all sorts of kind of dramatic lying and subterfuge and plotting going on. So far at the moment the royalists are currently winning and they've beaten back the rebel forces, and Honor is safe again and kind of the siege has ended and she's back with Richard. But from knowing what happens in history, it's all going to go horribly wrong fairly soon, so it'll be really interesting to see how it goes wrong and what happens there and what's going to happen. And I imagine it's going to end badly, and in a sad way, because most of Daphne du Maurier's work ends in a sad way, is the general vibe from her previous work. So I'm enjoying it. I've got some fun ideas for stitching with card that once I have it set up, I'm going to show you what I mean by that, and then that'll be like the new project that I film me stitching. So I think for today I'm actually just going to stop, but I will check in a couple of days time when I've started a new project and made a bit more progress. But generally I'm enjoying everything so far, and we have one stitching project done. My little cacti, I like them, they're cool. Right, chat to you soon. Okay, so this is the new project that I've started working on. I'm still listening to the audiobook, but I haven't really made any kind of dent into it since I last checked in. So these are the Pantone Postcards, and there's like a Pantone Postcard challenge where people are painting them. But I don't paint, that's not really my thing. And I've been trying to, been meaning to play around with kind of mixing media for a while, so I thought it'd be fun to try and get a load of these and then see if they would withstand stitching. So what I've done is I've just got like this simple large embroidery hoop, and I've tacked it down using a really basic running stitch, if you can see here, and then on the back where the card will now stay. And the idea is that I'm going to use lots of stitches that don't require many holes in the fabric through the card, and then it's also going to be supported by this linen at the back. And I'm going to try and do this like repeating lemon slice pattern on here, and just kind of see how it works, if the card disintegrates, if bits of it start to come away. And if it works, then I've got like 99 other Pantone postcards of varying different colours that I can kind of give a go of. But I thought it'd be interesting to challenge myself to work with a completely different medium, and also to kind of have to think a little bit harder about what stitches am I using, how close are the holes going to be, how much damage is it going to do to the card underneath, and sort of how can I create the fill effects that I want and the design effects that I want on this without compromising the integrity of the card. And then once I've done, it's not going to stay on the hoop, I will cut it out and then potentially try framing it or something, just because I don't think it needs to stay on this, but it should. Like that's fairly nicely tacked down, so whilst this bit obviously with no stitches is still free. So once all of this design work is done, it should stay on its fabric quite nicely, and then I can frame it and see how it looks. So yeah, and I think the border, it's slightly messy in places. It's weird working with something where you can't see where the needle's coming up until you've basically committed to that placement. But my proprioception for where my needle is when it's at the back will get better as well. So I think this is going to be fun. So I will check in when I've listened to more of the audiobook and I've made a bit more progress on this, but that's the plan for today, is to see what I can do with this guy. Okay, so I've been sitting and stitching and listening for like an hour or so. I've also been drinking Prosecco because today is my birthday, so I'm a little bit tipsy, which is why I have stopped stitching, because I don't trust myself to do this justice. So book-wise, I've just got to the end of chapter 26, and everything is going terribly for the Royalist army, which we knew it was going to because it's a historical fiction based on the Civil War, so we already know that the Royalists lose. So things are fairly dramatic. It's getting a little dull in places. It's a little repetitive with some of the battles, I'm not gonna lie. But I still really enjoy our main narrator, Honor. I think she's fab, and I'm intrigued with where it's going to go and kind of how it's going to wrap up at the end, because I can't see much that it can do right now. So I'm intrigued with what our kind of like third act is going to be. I can't remember if I've said on here or just in like the Voxer chat, but generally I'm really enjoying Honor as the main narrator. I think that it's lovely to see Daphne du Maurier basically playing around with a character who is both a woman and much stronger. I've read Rebecca and My Cousin Rachel, and Rebecca, the unnamed narrator in that, is very wishy-washy and nervous and anxious and just generally very unsure of herself the whole time. Whereas in My Cousin Rachel, the main narrator is a gentleman. So whilst Rachel is a fantastic character, we never get to spend any time in her head. Whereas I really enjoy in this one that we're with Honor. She is very self-possessed, very in control, very intelligent, and she really she's just a badass bitch, you know, like she's doing her thing and she's fantastic. So I'm enjoying her, and I was also really enjoying the character who hasn't appeared for a while, Gertrude, who's our kind of leading man's sister, and she's very mercenary and out to use her woman wiles to get what she needs and her womanly ways, and I greatly respect her as a character too. I think she's wonderful as an unlikable character. So the women in this book have been particularly like mwah, chef's kisses around. So let's have a look at my embroidery project, shall we? This is how it's going so far, and I'm actually really pleased with it. So like I said, I've paused because basically I'm getting a bit sleepy and a bit tipsy and I just kind of want to sit and chill, but I just have the segments left. I'm not too sure how this stitch is working. I think it's pulling tension a bit nasty there, so I think I need to get better at that one. But generally I'm enjoying how I've been using these. I think the holes are very obvious. I don't know if it's worth trying to see if I've got like a thinner needle for the next one of these that I do, because it doesn't really matter that I'm using a thinner thread in some of the areas to get that like thicker outline and then thinner line in the middle if all of the holes are coming out the same size and punching quite big holes through it. I also think that it is definitely a lot more noticeable whether I'm going like up from the bottom or down from the top, in like if you compare these holes to these holes on the coloured than it is on the white. So I'm intrigued, but it's holding itself on and it's holding itself together quite nicely. I don't think anything's going to come off. So my concern that the number of holes I was punching in the card that would like basically disintegrate or deteriorate like the integrity of the card, that doesn't seem to be happening. So it's been really interesting so far, and I really like the effect. I think it's very cool. So I'm definitely happy to try doing some other ones in the future, and I'm quite keen to get this one finished. But like I said, not today. I'd rather be able to take my time with the audiobook and with this project and not like rush through it today. So I'm probably going to go do a little bit of World of Warcraft questing. Andy's cooking me a lovely roast lamb dinner for my birthday, so that will be ready fairly soon. And for now, this is going to be shelved and I'll come back to it at some point next week. So my plan is to curl up and do some bullet journaling and listen to the last bit of The King's General. I think I've got about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours left of it, and my plan is to just blitz it today. So I'm going to, like I said, listen to it whilst bullet journaling, and then I'll probably finish it off whilst I do the washing up. Bullet journal wise, I'm planning April at the moment, so I've literally just done the cover page and that's it. I did do a completely different design for April, but I've got rid of it because I really didn't enjoy it, so I'm going for this kind of tartan pattern inspired stuff instead now. So I'm going to do the calendar spread and the video planner spread to begin with, is my kind of first port of call. So I'll get those both done whilst listening to this, and yeah, that's about it really. So I finished The King's General the other night. I then, oh, hello Miss Toaster, she's just come up. We'll show her in a second. Shall we show her? Shall we? Oh, you're jumping back down. Oh, you're running away. Okay, bye bunny. Anyway, what was I saying about The King's General? Am I in focus? There we go. So yeah, so I finished The King's General the other night. I really enjoyed it. I loved the ending. Very classic Daphne du Maurier, very classic spooky. It was a little slow in a couple of places, but I don't think in like a problematic way. I think it was very good at sort of drawing out that suspense of a siege and the idea of like war being boredom punctuated by kind of flurries of activity. I liked the amount of historical accuracy Daphne du Maurier brought in. I thought she was very good at explaining it, so that even if you didn't know anything about the English Civil War, you kind of got enough of the context to know what was going on. And just generally, yeah, it was a 5-star read, really enjoyable. I like Daphne du Maurier, so this was a very successful stitching lesson for me. So let's show you the progress I made on the other stitching projects. So obviously you've already seen the cacti one that I finished, but let's talk about some others. These two projects I haven't actually finished yet. So this one is the Pantone card one that I've been showing you the progress for. So as you can see, I filled in a few more of them. I've still got some segments to go, but like I said, I finished the audiobook already, so at some point I'll get around to finishing this. The card is interesting to work with, but this is a little repetitive, so I was getting a little bit bored of it, so I may shelve this one for a while and come back to it. But what I've also been playing around with is watercolors on fabric. So as you can see, I haven't actually started stitching this one yet. Oh, camera can't focus. Camera can't focus. There we go. So what I've decided to play around with, based on some inspiration I saw on Instagram, is using watercolors to color the backgrounds, and then I'm going to use stitching detail to kind of make the full piece. So I've been having it fun. I bought this kit from Amazon. If I remember, I'll link it down below. It's really nice. It's just like they slide out. So it's a little pack of watercolors, super small and simple, and then it comes with this like watercolor brush. So there's water in this bit here, and then you just like literally dip and go. So it's really easy to do, kind of without needing lots of kit for it, and the whole thing I think was only like 20 quid or something. So I used this the other night to do this watercolory background, and then I'm going to stitch the details of the little koi carp and do some like little lily pad detailing, and then I think the next one I'm going to try doing is maybe some jellyfish stuff. I think it would be really fun to do some stuff with some of the mushroom and fungi ideas I had. So yeah, so generally I've just been enjoying playing around with not just like fabric base and then stitching, kind of doing other things with other fabrics and different materials like card and then the watercolor detailing. So I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me on this, back to me, on this stitch and listen, and kind of seeing. If you liked the vlog and you liked seeing my embroidery stuff, do let me know. This is something I could potentially do again in the future. Pick a particular book and then just sort of do some stitching and doodling with it. If you've enjoyed seeing Miss Bunny, then do let me know as well. We had her more at the beginning than the end of the vlog, but she's hanging out over there. She's doing her own thing. I don't want to go and interrupt her. And if you've taken part in the stitch and listen, how did it go? What projects did you complete? What did you think? Let me know everything in the comments down below. And which one of the 3 designs were your favourite that I did? We've got our funky cacti, our like lemon orange slices, and then the watercolour that I've barely done anything on. But who knows. If I remember, I will potentially try and show the finished products of the Pantone square and the watercolour piece in my next video that I film once they're actually done, if I remember, and if people would be interested in that. I'll try and show it maybe at the end or something. I will probably forget though, so apologies. You can always follow me on Instagram. I post semi-regularly about my embroidery, but I really don't do that much of it, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. Have a wonderful reading week, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.